Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the program director for iTrain Asia. And today I'm very happy to introduce the Bett Asia School Challenge to all the teachers in Southeast Asia interested to participate in this first challenge that will happen during Bett Asia's competition. So it's my honor to introduce Florence, who is representing Bett today. And we will have later on Nina as well, who is part of iTrain Kids, to talk more about the training program. But yeah, Florence, the floor is yours.
Well, welcome first and foremost to Bett Asia School Challenge. This is the first one happening at Bett Asia, from now all the way to October, when our event will be taking place. We are very honored to be with you today, and I thank you very much for your presence. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank iTrain for their help in making this happen, for Google for sponsoring and enabling us to use great technologies, and most of all to our teams for working hard in the background to coordinate everything. So I hope you will enjoy this experience and that we will see you as well at Bett Asia for the final. All right, Elizabeth, in that case, if you want to start, that would be great. And if everyone can keep their microphones off, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Florence. And yeah, once again, welcome all teachers and school representatives joining in for this info session. So this info session is just to brief all of you in what's expected of you when it comes to participating in the Bett Asia School Challenge. And so the challenge overview is that it will be a Southeast Asia-wide competition for students ages 7 to 17. It's created to promote big thinking and innovative ideas on a large scale to help provide solutions for schools and education issues using the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And it is a challenge supported by iTrain Kids, where we're going to organize training sessions that will help enhance the teachers to teach the kids subjects such as critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication. So the idea of this challenge is that you as teachers, you would be guiding your students in developing these projects that would reach the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Timeline for this is, as you know, you're currently registering for the training session. So that's the main training session that will happen next week. And for this, we'll share later on what is needed from your side to prepare for that. But that will be a full day training session, which will tackle aspects of Teachable Machines, which is an app development tool that you can use to develop your projects for these Sustainable Development Goals. And the idea is that we will equip you with the knowledge to later on teach your students on how to use these tools. And a major aspect that we want to focus on as well is that you use some of the Google tools. That Teachable Machines is also one of Google tools, and other tools such as Google Docs and Google Slides to enhance your projects. And then after this training session, you'll have quite plenty of time to work on these projects. They can be done in groups, which I will be sharing on later on. But yeah, and in 8th of September, you're expected to submit your projects. Submission guidelines, what is expected from you, all of that will be shared. And basically, I can brief you in now is that there will be a form that you have to fill in, which will request you to also upload a 3 to 5 minute video where the kids, without videos turned on, just with the voices, explain how you developed this project and walk through what kind of steps and action items you faced, what tools you used, and so on. And as well, what will be needed for the submission will be presentation. So slides that you submit together in this form. And then on 15th of September, the finalists would be announced and invited to participate in Bett Asia conference in Bangkok on 4th to 5th October. So this part would be, that's why also in registration, you might have noticed that one of the inquiries is whether you would be able to travel on these dates. And it would be self-funded travels for the competition. So yeah, And that will happen then on 5th of October, where the live finals and award ceremony will be happening. Then more about the challenges. We're now looking into the three main challenges to tackle the UN Sustainability Development Goals for the Bett Asia competition. One is life below water, where the challenge would be to develop an idea to promote a better use of our oceans, seas, and marine resources. And this will specifically be more towards the students who are ages from 7 to 12. And then the challenge for life on land would be to develop an idea to promote the conservation of life on land. And this will be for more adult kids from ages from 13 to 17. And then for climate action, we are looking in that the kids would develop an action campaign to educate the public about the importance of climate action. And this as well would be for kids ages 13 to 17. And we're expecting that each a teacher can have multiple groups, but each group has of teams of 3 to 5 kids. So that is in order to they can collaborate, they can work in teams. It doesn't have to be individual. And the expectation of the teacher is that you help kids develop these projects. You perhaps spend one full day in teaching them about teachable machines and the Google tools, but you are there to assist them and guide them in developing these. And then the training session on 19th July will be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bangkok time. And the full day training session will provide a recap of the problem statements. So what I shared just now, but Ms. Nina, she will be guiding you through as well some specific examples that you can work on, and like an example project and its development stages. And you have live project development to prepare for starting your challenges with your groups using teachable machines. One thing we have to note that you would need to use your computers to access this training session. It will be happening over Google Meet as well. But in order for you to effectively learn you'd have to open the meeting from your computer, because opening from phone wouldn't allow you to learn as efficiently as needed. And please make sure that you have good internet connection throughout the training. And here is a brief agenda. Then perhaps I can pass the floor to Ms. Nina and to walk through the training plan.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. So I will just share my screen first, and then we will go through a brief agenda on this. Okay. So technically, hold on. I think we can use Elizabeth. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a one full day duration. The training duration is actually takes 1 day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So for the time allocation, okay, I will be going to brief the progress that we're gonna do in the whole day. So we'll start from 9 a.m. to 11:30. We will be using introduction. We will be introduce the Google Classroom tools and see the useful tools that work with the teachable machine. So some like slides, docs, Drive, Google Datasets. So all these will be used in line with the teachable machine. And then in this session as well, we'll be designing the problem statements. So using some of the tools like Google Slides and Jamboard to design a problem statement that will challenge the students to build the project based on the 3-topic address, which is life below water, life on land, and the climate action. All right, and then the next few hours on the at 11:30, and it's 1 hour session, 10:30 until 11:30. We will be starting introduce the teachable machine and its possibilities, the benefit of the machine learnings, and here we will be using a teacher workbook to collect the notes, to apply and taking some important notes from this session. Okay. The next hours at 11:30 until 1 p.m. we will be starting building the project, which is the student will get to know about the sample project that we prepared, which is the AI-based waste management system. So actually, this waste management system is actually cater all three challenges at the same time. But here we will try to cover how we're gonna build machine learning model. So we're gonna show the step-by-step to build model using the teachable machine, and then we're gonna incorporate Google dataset and Drive to locate the data sets and also to upload the image in the Google Drive. All right, so we will be having our lunch break for 1 hour at 1 until 2 p.m. And then we're going to straight go back to the next session, which is part 2. We'll be covering on the Google challenge on the specific, which is we're going to provide other different sample of AI system or machine learning. Right, so this will happening for 1.5 hours, starting 2 until 3:30 p.m. And we're gonna use slide, the teacher workbook that actually part of the whole journey, and then we're gonna use a highlight form, Google form to for the teachers to submit their feedback. So we will let the teachers to have a freestyle, like building their own project at 3:30 until 4:30, to apply the understanding that they have learned on the previous session. And we're gonna open the floor to FAQ starting at 4:30 to 5 p.m. And we're gonna jump into conclusion. So we're gonna end the session by 5 p.m. Right. So by any question on the event?
Thank you, Nina. I guess I wanted to would be great to clarify as well what would be expected from teachers. As I mentioned before, it's good internet connection and opening up from the browser.
Oh, right. Okay, so actually get into it first. Okay, so we do not have technically for the requirements, like as well, Elizabeth has mentioned previously, because we want to ensure a seamless and productive online learning experience. So we need all participants to have access to a device that actually meet the specific following specification. So you may have a laptop or desktop computer that actually have a stable and reliable internet connection. So you need to have an updated web browser using Chrome, and of course, make sure that you have a working webcam and microphone. It can be built in or external as well, because we are not really recommend the smartphone, because they're going to be the primary device for our online class, because due to the limited screens and also quite limited functionalities.
Okay, thank you. And anything else to note, like perhaps the teachers can already prepare in advance before the training session?
We will actually provide we will upload and update they can pre-download the template that we provide for them. So we will have the teacher workbook, we will have some document that they can actually download to have a look through. Yeah, so technically all the information, even the itinerary of the event itself, we will prepare in one document, one folder, then you can download it all together.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nina. Then I will go with the next. And if any of you have any more questions, please feel free to write them in the chat box, and we'll address them either throughout the session or after, towards the end of the session. Then more about the project submission. So you have to submit your projects by September 8th, and we will have access throughout the School Challenge website. So that will be a form that you have to indicate the team details. But very important in this case is not to indicate any details of your students. So this will be, here you just write what is your team name, what is the school that you're representing, and so on, because we do want to protect the privacy of the kids. That's why we are just, we would just be handling the information that is gathered from the teachers, so that we make sure that that the kids are in a safe environment and they can challenge these projects. feeling that none of their privacy has been compromised, I would say. And but yeah, so from the team details, that would just be indicating your school, the teacher's name and surname, and also what challenges are you tackling. So that would be the sustainability challenge that you're chosen. And then we'd expect you to write a brief project description and a statement from the teacher, a few sentences on how is the project developed, any problems you faced, and guiding through the presentation. So like a brief to the presentation that you would be attaching. So there would be in the form, you would need to attach a link to the slides presentation. And that's a shareable link. You can change the settings of the privacy and who can view the presentation later on. I think Nina will explain that as well during the training session. But yeah, so that's the expectation, that you just add the link to the presentation so that we can see how the project was developed, any screenshots of the project, and work that's been done around that. And also guidelines and a template for this presentation will be shared to all of you. So no worries, and most of the information will be provided. And what else is expected is for you to submit this video link. So uploading 3 to 5 minute YouTube, a video to YouTube, where you just walk through this presentation that you have created. But yeah, expectation is that you just have the voiceover. So here the kids' voices can be used. So, but no video of the faces of the kids. So that's the expectation, that you just allow the kids to walk them through. And then on the final day, they would be presenting in person this as well. And yeah, so the teams, as we mentioned as well before, one teacher can have a minimum of one team, which has students of 3 to 5 kids. And then can be also, yeah, that's up to the kids to decide how many they want to be working together with. And then the template presentation will contain the following sections, such as what were the project goals, the methodology and approach that you used, and the results and impact that you're looking into seeing, resources used, challenges faced, and lessons learned. And what I would suggest is actually that these projects, perhaps you develop the minimum viable product during this July and August period, but then in your methodology and approach and results and impact, you can explain how you will use this project later on to perhaps implement at your schools and your daily lives, so that it truly brings some more of a reward after finishing these projects. Then the judging criteria, this is, I guess, more a help to all the teachers to understand what should be included in the project submissions, so that what you can focus on, so that you know what the judges will be looking for. So we'd like to see that there is relevance to the challenge. So if you're choosing life on land, then you'd have to develop the project so that it's truly relevant to the topic. Then we'd look into as well innovation and creativity to see if there has been, teachable machines is the main tool that you'd have to be using, but perhaps you can find some other tools online that can help and make this project more impactful. Then another aspect is the effective use of tools. So these tools are, as we mentioned earlier, teachable machines, Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and then impact and effectiveness of the project. How can it be implemented, and what is your projected impact to help out perhaps not only your group of students, but how you can share the message across to other classmates. Then practicality and feasibility, which goes very hand in hand with the previous, and collaboration and engagement between the team itself, to see that perhaps it will be not as easy to showcase which student did the most work and which student did the least work, but still would be great to have some examples of how collaborative the team has been. You can perhaps divide into different tasks and different roles. Some of the students might be better in writing tasks and coming up with the texts of it and descriptions of the project and the reasonings, where some of the students might be more hands-on. So that's really up to the team to decide what to do. And then educational value as well, how this can help the students either in their English classes, in their biology classes, or even maths classes. So it's truly, we believe that any teacher can take upon these challenges and implement that as a project for within their curricula for the students. And then presentation and communication, of course, is something we'd be looking in the submissions, and sustainability and long-term viability. So it might be a bit more, sound a bit too complicated for kids specifically, but we're hoping that that you as teachers can perhaps bring this message to the kids to see that, hey, something that they can develop can actually help others and can help the people that they live with, their families and their other classmates. Then moving forward, so the judging criteria also, will be sharing it across with all of you so that you can follow this when you're working on the submissions. And then the live finals will be happening at Bett Asia, and finalists will be announced via email on 15th September. And on this, actually, I'd like to, perhaps Florence, if you're still in the call, I'd love to ask you to give a few notes on the live finals at Bett Asia and what the students can expect and teachers.
Yes, absolutely. So if you just give me 1 second, actually, I'm going to be telling you all the details. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So thank you first and foremost for this excellent presentation as well for Nina. I hope it's very clear. So obviously the first part is today the info, and then we have the training on the 18th, which is a great day. If I remember well, there's also certification that will be attached to that. So it's a great incentive for you to attend. And then obviously you will be submitting your project. The one thing that I wanted to clarify is if you make it to the finalists, then Google will actually give you a special package where you can actually access all their tools in an upgraded way. But we can mention that a bit later at the training. So, and then on the last obviously step, or shall I say, or part of the exciting school challenge is on-site. That is going to be the competition on-site, and that will be happening on the day 2 of our event. The event takes place on the 4th and 5th of October at the Athene Hotel in Bangkok. Obviously, something that Elizabeth mentioned is that we are looking through. She will be looking through the submissions. So if we think you're going to be making it to the finalist selection, you will be contacted in advance so that you can prepare your trip. So on a day 2, which will be the 5th of October in Thailand at the Athene Hotel, a fantastic venue, we will have the actual physical competition, so the last final, as we call it, and that will be taking place. I will give you the exact timing, and obviously we will tell you all this again later, at 1 o'clock to 2:20. So on site, obviously, you will have Elizabeth and you will have, the judges, and you will have the Bett team to assist you. We will have a room for the kids as well. We will obviously go through all the details of the on-site organization with the teachers before, because obviously there are rules and regulations to ensure the safety of the little ones. And so there's going to be 3 competitions, obviously, as Elizabeth explained, with the 3 different topics. So the first one will be from 1 o'clock to 1:30. The second one will be from 1:30 to 1:55, and the last one 1:55 to 2:15. But all these timings, obviously, that's a lot of information. All these timings will be given to you in written once you are selected.
Thank you, Florence. Anything else from your side?
No, I'm just very excited about everything. And I think that it is a great opportunity for teachers to learn and then to share their knowledge with the students.
Okay, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah. So now as well, it's time for the Q&A. If any of you have any questions, please feel free. Yeah, please feel free to ask in the messages. I guess I can ask a question. Who will be joining next week for the training session? You can send a reaction or a chat message.
I think what I would like to maybe emphasize on, if I may, is that obviously the first part of the challenge is is happening in the summertime when some schools are closed for a couple of weeks, etc. And you shouldn't worry, because obviously your first submission is not the full project. It's only if you're a finalist, then you have to actually go through the whole project and then present it on site.
We have a question on, are we allowed to use any other app to build the prototype?
I can answer if you want as well. Absolutely. Oh, sorry. It's a great question, but we would really want you to use the training and the tools that we are obviously suggesting you to use. So ideally, you are using the tools that we are providing. As I said, it is a fantastic opportunity as well to discover new tools. So you're going to be trained on them, but as I mentioned, if you make it to the finalists, you will be receiving, a package, shall I say? I think there is a proper name for it. So please, I want to apologize for my ignorance in terms of technicalities. But yes, so you will be offered, you will be given a link and access to Google's tools. And so this is going to be really a great experience for you to try new tools as well. And let's remember that a challenge is about pushing our limits. So it's a great way for you to also push your limits and push the kids' limits.
Thank you, Florence. Then, yeah, I guess we can wait a few more minutes. But I see that we've gone through the most aspects of the training session next week and what is also expected from the submissions. So if any of you have any questions, I think you have the main contact email from Bett that you can inquire. But next week, come as you are, come there to be present for the training session, and that will be the main starting point for the challenge. So today's session is mostly just to introduce what is upcoming, what you can expect, how you can prepare, and then the start of it will be next week in the full day training session, where Miss Nina and her colleagues will guide you through how to use teachable machines to develop different projects with the sustainability goals in mind. Yes, so next week's training, you will also receive certificates of participation. We just received a question, will all the participants of next week's training get the certificates? Those of you who attend the full day training will get a certificate of participation, and those of you who submit the project will also receive the certificate of submission.
And it is good to remind as well, Elisabeth, that the training session will be recorded. So you will be able then to review the session as well as maybe share it with your students. When it comes to the teams, we just for security reasons for the organization on site, we are only able to accept teams up to 5 members. It is always good to keep maybe a 6-1, Vicky, as you don't know, there might be one kid that can't travel.
or one kid that ends up being a free rider, and then then the rest can decide who joins. Yes, so the requirements have been changed due to security reasons, Alison. So yeah, that teams now have to be made up of 3 to 5 students.
Yes, apologies as well for this, but just for regulations, we just want to make sure that your kids are safe. And again, just to let you know, on site, the kids will be accompanied by the teachers, and we will have meetings with all the teachers to explain the on-site processes. There will also be a room available for the kids at all times for them to leave their bags, etc.
Perfect, thank you. And yeah, so since I have a question from Nidhi for that she missed, joined a bit later, so I'll quickly run through again the presentation just very, very briefly so that we know what is expected again. So yes, again, the challenge is for teachers to teach their students on how to develop a project that tackles the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And you're expected to have the groups of students which are either in groups of 7 to 12 or 12 to 17, and work in groups of 3 to 5 students, up to 5 students. And what you will have during this period until September 8th is you will have training sessions, time to work on the projects, support documents will be shared to you as well, and you'll be able to also interact and address any questions that you face, and we do our best to answer to the best of our knowledge the questions that might arise during these work on projects in July and September. And then in September 8th, you are expected to submit your projects for judging. And then on 15th September, the finalists are announced, and the live finals are happening at Bett Asia in Bangkok on 4th to 5th October. And for the challenge itself, the finals would be on 5th October. And the challenges that we're tackling would be life below water, life on land, and climate action. So mostly on sustainability on the environment. Then the training session that will happen next week is a full-day training session that will go through the problem statement. We'll give you a project example that you can work on already during this training session. And you would learn how to use teachable machines and other Google tools to supplement your projects. And a major point to know is that you have to ensure that you're joining in from a computer, not from a mobile phone, and that you have stable internet connection throughout the training times. And we'll be sharing across different materials that can guide you through on how to use teachable machines and how to actually teach your kids these tools. And that will all be shared to you across next week after the training session. And then the project submission, what will be required from your side is to submit a presentation and a video in the form, and also a few additional notes. And what is mostly important is that you do not mention any of the kids' names, and that the kids' faces don't appear in the photos or in the videos presented, so that we can ensure the kids' privacy. And that is not subject to any issues. And we'll be sharing also the project submission presentation template that you can use to as a guide for what to include in the presentation. And some of these aspects would include the project goals, the methodology used, the results and impact, and resources used, as well as challenges faced and lessons learned, so that we know that perhaps if you didn't have time or enough resources to work on these projects, you can explain, for example, if you missed some kind of access or something, some problems arise, we would still take that into consideration. But we'd still appreciate that you do submit this project, because any kind of work will be appreciated and will be considered. So do not be afraid if perhaps you have an incomplete project. There's always reasons why the project was not possible to finish, but we'd go through these submissions anyways and see perhaps your ideas might have been even more impactful than other projects' ideas, but some time was missing. So we'd always consider that. Then the judging criteria as well, we'd be sharing that across with you. This is a guide that you can see and understand how will the best teams be chosen to attend the final day, and also for the prizes, as Florence mentioned, that will be given as well. So not only, of course, you're getting this training experience, but there's a lot more you can gain from participating in the challenge. Yeah, so that's, I guess, all that we wanted to share in this session today. If any of you still have questions, we'd be here in the call for a few more minutes, so please feel free to ask away. Oh, and I see that there have been quite a few questions while I was talking. Yeah, we'll be sending the recording, and yeah, no need to register again. So there was a question if you need to register again because they registered for more than 5 students. And as Alexandra mentioned, one teacher can have multiple teams. So if you have six students that you want to be guiding through this challenge, you can split them up, or they themselves can split them into 2 groups of 3 and 3. So that's all possible. Just that the submission will be based on this specific group. So the submissions would be based on the groups and teams rather than the teacher. So the teacher would be submitting and can be submitting 2 separate submissions, but representing separate teams. Yeah. Okay. So I see that the questions in the chat box also have been answered. So yeah, the training session links will be shared, and the recording of today's session also will be shared to everyone who registered, because we know that not all can be as flexible to join in all the sessions. But so if any more questions, we'll be here for a few more minutes. But if none of you have any more questions, then we'd like to say a big thank you for joining in today. And we look forward to meeting you all next week for the training session.